Hello. Hello, dear children. Very good morning, everyone. And this is your English teacher Venugopalachari. Is extremely glad to welcome you all for today's learning session. And in this video, we are going to discuss the textual grammar skills from your lesson, the town mouse and the country mouse. And previously, we discussed to some extent. And in this video, let's discuss the following textual grammar skills. Let's try today to finish all the textual grammar skills in this video. So I request everybody to be fully focused, okay, regarding these activities. Okay, right. Read the following sentences and notice the underlined words. It is always quiet in the country. Sometimes it is the quieter than today. My grandpa says that our village is the quietest among all the villages in our district. So if you read the above paragraph, it's a shortest, very shortest paragraph, 2-line paragraph, certain words are underlined. So quiet, quieter and quietest. So these three words are, adjectives. And we have, degrees of comparison, just we have different levels and different stages in comparison of the adjectives. So those are called degrees of comparison. Okay. And here it is given positive degree, comparative degree and superlative degree. Okay, let me now give you a very brief idea to understand what degrees of comparison is. Okay, right. Now here I have taken a look at these examples. Banana is sweet, apple is sweeter than banana, and mango is the sweetest of all. Okay, here in the first sentence we talk about a certain fruit is called banana. It has some quality. That quality is sweetness. But we don't know how much level of sweetness or how much amount of sweetness it has, we don't know. But it has just, the fruit banana has just quality is sweetness. So this is what you call is positive degree. The first level, we don't know how much it has, but it has some quality is called positive degree. Now here apple is being compared with banana. Okay, when it is compared with banana, apple has more amount of sweetness. Now banana has this much sweetness and apple has this much of sweetness. So when it is compared to banana, it has more amount of sweetness. So that here what is given here, sweeter, its level is increased. Okay, it has more and more amount than this. So this is what you call is comparative degree. So here markers are than is there and er is added to the adjective or adverb. Okay, remember this is comparative degree, because now two things are being compared here, apple as well as banana, both things are compared about particular quality. So when both things are compared and talking about particular quality, it has some more amount of greatness. Okay, next one, mango is the sweet. When mango is being compared with not only banana and apple, any other fruit you take and compare, it has the highest level of, the greatest level of, the highest level of sweetness it has. So this is what you call is superlative degree. Superlative means the superstar. Okay, the ultimate one, the highest point of something is called, this is called superlative degree. So here the main concept is, for example, sweet is there here. Sweet. See, when you write sweet, sa, va, e, t. This is e is a syllable. I mean, this is a vowel sound. So how many vowels are there? Sa is consonantal sound. Va is consonantal sound. Ta is consonant sound. Whereas e is vowel sound. So in this word, how many vowels are there? Only one vowel sound is there. So that this is what you call is single syllabic word, otherwise monosyllabic word. Likewise, a word which contains one or two syllables, usually we add er in comparative degree and est in superlative degree. So if a word contains more than two syllables, then we use more and most in comparative as well as superlative degree. That is actually explained here. See here. Usually short words take er and es as suffixes to form other degrees of comparison. For example, dark, darker, darkest, small, smaller, smallest, rich, richer, richest, safe, safer, safest, clever, cleverer, cleverest, tall, taller, tallest, bright, brighter, brightest. Whereas now here we are going to experience, we are going to see some other words which has more than two or more than two syllables. Then more and most is added, more and most added to the comparative as well as superlative degree. See, that's what given. Words with two or more than two syllables take more and most respectively in comparative degree and superlative degree. Useful, more useful, most useful. Beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. Interested, more interested, most interested. Doubtful, more doubtful, most doubtful. Precious, more precious, most precious. Delicious, more delicious, most delicious. Dreadful, more dreadful, most dreadful. Cheerful, more cheerful, and most cheerful. Whereas these are some exceptions. Okay, these take, the following words take different forms and different sounds. Okay, these are simply called exceptions. Every topic and everything has exceptional cases. So it is the one of that in positive degrees of comparison. So positive degree: much, more, most, good, better, best, bad, worse, worst, far, farther, farthest. Okay, right. This is about degrees of comparison. Just only the introduction part regarding adjectives or adverbs. They take different forms in comparative as well as superlative degree. Okay, we have seen. Now the next one is second Roman. So we move to the second Roman, and here we are going to see a new topic about an auxiliary verbs. It functions different ideas. Second Roman. Read the following sentences from your lesson and notice the underlined words. May I stay with you? Here the underlined word is may. The underlined word may is a helping verb. The other name for a helping verb is called an auxiliary verb. It is used to take and give permission in a formal way. So official way. When you talk to elders, when you talk to official people, when you talk to HM sir, when you talk to teachers, when you talk to somebody who is elder, usually we talk in a respectable manner. It's a respectable manner. So this way of talking is called formal way of talking. Formal means official. Okay. And here the word may is used to take and give permission. Take and give permission. For example, if I want something, so may I take your book? May I take your a cell phone? May I use your newspaper? May I take your newspaper? Okay. So this is the way we are using. For example, when you children, so when you want to come inside, when you want to get inside, so how do you ask a teacher? Who is teaching here? May I come inside? So here you are seeking permission, you are taking permission from somebody in an official manner. Likewise, when in case you are you agree to somebody, yes, you may have it, you may take it, you may use it. So you can give reply, you can give responses using may, also. So may is used to take permission as well as give permission. See here, but can is used to take and give permission in an informal way. So may is formal, official, so agreeable, whereas can is used in an informal way. Informal means when you talk to your friends, when you talk to your equal rankers, the same age group people. But don't use can in the place of may when you talk to elders and official people. So that reflects what you call a matter of respect, dignity. Okay, right. So can I leave this place? Taking permission. You can go now, giving permission. So may as well as can. These two auxiliary forms, these two helping verbs are used to give as well as to take permission. Remember, but whereas may is formal, it is used in the formal language, whereas can is used in informal language. Informal. Informal means friendly. So friendly. So where we enjoy, easy relation. Okay. May has another use also. It is used to express possibility. So when you are not sure about something, when you guess it, when you think that something is going to happen, exclusively it's a guessing, speculation. It's just an imagination. Okay, a little belief that something is going to happen, then we are using may. For example, when you play with a small dog, okay, and people who observe you may say that, it may bite you. It may bite you. Okay, likewise, seeing the clouds, somebody says, it may rain today. It may rain today. But no guarantee, and no strong belief and no strong idea about that, and it is going to rain surely. But it's just speculation, guessing, an idea, just you are giving you an idea, but no surety about that. Is called, expressing possibility. Expressing possible. For example, a child is playing with a knife. Okay, it may cut you. In case you don't use it properly, it may cut you. Okay. Likewise, when you play outside in the ground, okay, don't run very fast. You may fall down. Of course, you are running very, properly and accurately, and you are strong enough and you are power enough. You can balance yourself, but your way of action seems to be like so. Others when they watch it, when they watch you, okay, they may suggest you, or they may express, they're guessing, their idea that you may fall down, run slowly. So may also is used to express possibility, and also these two forms are used to express, give and take permission. Give permission and as well as take permission. Okay, now let's follow the exercise. You can understand easily. Read the following sentences and say what they mean. Choose the right answer from the choices given below. May I come in, sir? May I come in, sir? Okay. Is it a giving permission? Is it a giving permission? Taking permission and expressing possibility. So which is the correct answer, okay, among these options? Actually, you are trying to seek the permission from somebody. You want to enter. You want to get inside. You are asking. You are asking. So that this is what you call is taking permission. So page number 10. Page number 10. Option 1 is B is the right answer. Okay. Next one. Sindhu may come to India next month. Sindhu may come to India next month. It means Sindhu right now at the time of speaking, okay, she is somewhere. She is in the abroad. We don't know where she is. But you are guessing that, okay, she comes to India next month. So at the time of talking, okay, this action is not happened. So it will happen in the future. You think that, okay, that will happen. You think that, okay, she will come to India. So it's just, okay, guessing or speculation. So that, is it giving a permission or taking permission or expressing possibility? It's an expressing possibility. So that this is option 2 is, the question 2 is, option is C is the right answer. Next one, you may use my cell phone if you need. For example, you want something. For example, you don't have pen or you don't have watch. You want to ask me. Okay. So after asking, or otherwise, I do understand your feel. Okay, you are looking for something. I have something. So when I offer you, okay, you may use my cell phone if you need. You may use my pen. You may use my pencil. You may use my scale, my eraser. Okay, so you can take it. So you may use if you need. Is it a giving a permission or taking permission or expressing possibility? It's not at all expressing a possibility. It's not at all taking permission. Okay, so you are offering somebody. You are offering somebody. Okay, you may use my notebook if you want, or you may take a piece of paper from that book if you want. So you are offering somebody. So that this is what you call is giving permission. So that option 3, number 3, question number 3, right option is A. A is the right option. Next one, fourth one, can I take leave of you? Can I take leave of you? Is it a taking permission in a formal way, taking permission in an informal way, and expressing possibility? So what is that here? So already we discussed may and can both are used to give permission and take permission, whereas may is used to express formal language, formal style, whereas can is used in the informal way. So here both are given. So taking permission in a formal way, taking permission in an informal way. Can I take leave of you? So in this context, okay, we don't know who two people are talking, the speaker as well as the listener. Are they both equal rankers, or any difference in age group? So that depends on the context here. Okay, so in case you talk to your friend, you can use option B. It's an informal language. Do you understand? In case you talk to your friend and after meeting or after talking, in case you want to leave, you can use this expression. So can I take leave of you? But in case you are talking to an elder, in case you are talking to your teacher or somebody else who is older than you, okay, then it becomes taking permission in a formal way. That depends on the context, but here you can use generally, okay, this expression is used when talk to elder. So that as far as my knowledge is concerned, okay, the question number 4 option is, A is the right answer. Okay, right. Next one. So that depends on the context. So that context is not revealed here. That context is not understood, but we have to understand. Imagine that, okay, you are talking to some elder, then only we use this expression. Okay, next one. The dog may attack you if you run. The dog may attack you if you run. In case you start running, the dog may follow you, chase you, and attack you. So there is what you call, okay, expressing possibility. See, that's what. Giving permission, taking permission, both are absolutely, okay, not suitable. And expressing possibility. Yes, if you do something, okay, something follows. If you start running, the dog may chase you and attack you. So there is a possibility if you do something. So expressing possibility is the right option. So question number 5, option C is the right answer. Understood? Right. So the same will be followed in the examination. Don't get confused. This is very, very easy. Now we have learned only just 2 forms, may and can. Particularly these 2 forms are used when you give permission as well as take permission. But remember, may is used in the formal language, official language, and more polite language, whereas can is used in the informal language, in a friendly language, when you talk to relatives and when you talk to even your friends and the same age group people. Okay, right. And also may also is used to express possibility. Express possibility. Remember that. Okay, next one. Read the following sentences as directed. Read the following sentences as directed. Okay, dear children, the boy seems to cry if you don't buy an ice cream for him. So express this sentence using may. The boy may cry. The boy may cry if you don't buy an ice cream for him. See, in case you don't offer the boy an ice cream, so he may be crying. So here we are talking about possibilities, something action possibilities. If you do something, something will happen. If you don't do something, something will not happen. So here we are talking about all possibility or possible actions. Possible actions using may. Using may. Okay, right. You can use my camera if you need. You can use my camera if you need. Give permission using may. So how can you use? Okay, see here. You can use my camera. Where is the auxiliary verb? Where is the helping verb in the sentence? Can. In the place of can, if you use may, that expresses permission. So you may, I'm giving you answer. You may use my camera. You may use my camera if you need. If you need. So this is the expression that tells about or that describes possibility as well as giving permission. You may use my camera if you need. So you may take my cell phone, you may take my bike if you in case any more urgency. In case any more urgency, you may use and you may take my mobile, my bicycle, my bike, like that. Next one. He seems to be a nice man, expressing possibility using may. Okay, you don't know about that person and you believe that okay, he is a nice man, but no surety. Then using may, how do you say the same expression? See, already given here. He seems to be a nice man. Where is the verb here? Seems to be. In the place of seems to be, okay, you can use may. So, he may be. Why be here? May after verb 1 follows. Where is the verb here? There is no action word. Then this is the be form. This is the be form. He may be a nice man. He may be a nice man. You don't know about that. You don't know about that person. No surety. Okay? Just you are guessing. It's your speculation. It's guessing. So that he may be a nice man. That expresses possibility. Next one. You want to leave the classroom now. You want to leave the classroom now. Take permission using me. You want to leave the classroom. Okay. For example, you want to finish the work. In case, how do you consult the teacher to finish the task? To finish the task, how do you consult the teacher? Using may. Or you don't like to read a particular book. You want to drop it there. So how do you ask permission? How do you consult the teacher asking permission to drop that book there? So may I drop that book there and get one more book? May I drop that book there? Likewise, see here, you want to leave the classroom now. So that expression, may I leave the classroom now? May I leave the classroom now? So this is, the expression expresses, okay, taking permission. Next one, Raju wants to use your water bottle. Raju wants to use your water bottle. Give him permission. See, in case you want to take permission, may is used at the beginning of the sentence. May I come in, sir? So may I do it? May I call to Raju? May I talk to Rani? Like that. In case you want to take permission, may is used at the beginning of the sentence. In case you want to give permission, may is used after subject. You may use. You may use my mobile. You may use my notebook. You may take, like that. So that's only, okay, the best example. Raju wants to use your water bottle. So give permission using may. You, Raj or Raju, you means who? Actually you are describing clearly, okay, as if you are talking to Raju. You means here Raju. You may use my water bottle. My water bottle. Okay, otherwise you may use my water bottle. Otherwise you, Raju, may use. Raju, you may use my water bottle. So if you bring this expression here, Raju, you may use my water bottle, also is okay. This is, this expression, okay, expresses giving permission, because may is used after subject. And the next item is, read the following sentences from your lesson. I wish there was an air-conditioned coach. The above sentence expresses unreal past. So what is unreal past? And what is the suitable structure we use in English to express unreal past? It means something you want or something you wish to do, and something you wish to have something very seriously, but you don't have, in fact. Practically, so when you at the time of speaking, at the present time, you don't have something purely, but you seriously, okay, wish to have something and wish to, okay, get something. So that time we use this structure. Okay, this is, okay, I wish plus simple past tense. I wish plus simple past. Okay, this is past subjunctive to express unreal past. Okay, now let us see examples here. We use wish plus subject plus past tense to express unreal past. This sentence means, I'm sorry, there is no air-conditioned coach. Actually, the town mouse, while he started traveling to the countryside, there was no air-conditioned coach. It was such an unpleasant journey. In fact, he truly wished to have an air-conditioned coach in the bogie, railway bogie. Okay, it means there was nothing at the time of journey. There was nothing. There was no air-conditioned coach, but he truly and seriously wished to have something, to have a pleasant journey. Okay, so using this expression, let's continue this. Now express the wishes of people mentioned below using unreal past. Wish plus simple past tense. The first one is done for you. Sindhu has missed her school bus. She has to go to school urgently. She wishes to have a car. How would Sindhu express her wish? The first one is done for you. I wish I had a car. Okay, and the second one, Anita wants to abolish the system of exams. She wants to be the prime minister. So purely it's a wish. At the time of speaking, she can't be a prime minister. Okay, all her dreams would not turn into okay true. So that's just one wish. So how do you write answer? The second one is I wish, I wish I were, I were the prime minister. The prime minister. So why don't we use here was? So was is usually indicates action happened in the past, that expresses only past action. But after subject, in case we use were, it refers past subjunctive, something unreal condition, something unreal condition or imaginary condition. Okay, right. Srinu's father has a car. He wishes to drive that car, but he doesn't know how to drive a car. How would Srinu express his wish? I wish. So every answer begins with I wish. I wish. What is actually his wish? He doesn't know how to drive a car, but he wishes to drive a car. What is the verb here? Drive. So what is the past form of drive? Drove. I drove a car. I drove a car. Or I drove the car. Next one. Sharmila wants to play tennis, but she doesn't have a tennis racket. What is the condition now? She doesn't have the tennis racket. How would Sharmila express her wish? I wish, okay, I had. Have is the present form, had is the past form. I had a tennis racket. Okay, next one. Mahendra wants to get first rank in the class, but he can't. What is his wish? His wish is to get first rank, but he can't. How would Mahendra express his wish? I wish I got the first rank in the class. The first rank in the class. So this is the way we use this picture to express unreal past or imaginary condition. So with this, okay, the textual grammar skills are, in detail it was discussed, and we have some letters. Okay, in the next class we will discuss later in detail about these two letters. Okay, and in the next video we are going to see reading B, the poem, the town child, the country child, and about their wishes and imaginary conditions. Let us see, and those are very, very interesting. I'll see you later. Thank you all very much. Meet again.